On YouTube Tactics here. Now, I'm a little late with this video, but I apologize. School and work. It's all I did, and I didn't really plan for that. Really, I should start planning ahead when I tell you guys when I'm going to come out with videos. But this is not a deck profile of the Exodia, but it is a brief look at what the Exodia looks at. You could probably just screenshot this and make this deck. It's a simple deck to make. But today, I am going to talk about why to play this deck and what cards decide. Now, first of all, play this deck. The reason I play this deck is mainly to troll people, because it is really a troll deck. But it's a deck, like I said in a previous video, that people are not prepared for the most part. Most people are not going to put in Trap Stun, are not going to put in Royal Decree, because their deck, runs on traps. So, for the most part, unless you get like a Light Sworn person or something like that, they're not going to have anything to prepare for this. Maybe a Wiretap or a Trap Stun or two, and maybe an MST. But MST, and going against an MST is nothing, because you can just chain the card unless you MSTs it right when you set it. But, like it says, this deck is, there's 40 cards in all, obviously, and half the deck is trap cards. So the main weakness of this deck is, of course, trap cards. So, for instance, some of the cards I would side in for the Royal Decrees, if you notice Game 1 they have a Royal Decree, I would side in the MSTs. Now, some of the cards you might want to side out are kind of up to you. Maybe like a gift card. This card isn't too important, the Accumulated Fortune. And maybe, I don't know, a Pot of Duality. Because the reason I would say Pot of Duality is because you can only use one Pot of Duality per turn. So, yeah. So, that is to prepare for those obnoxious Royal Decrees. This card right here. Do not play this card in your deck or you're just going to be screwed. The good thing about it is, let's say you don't have an MST yet, and they have a Royal Decree out, you have a lot of stall time, like the Swift Scarecrows and the Battle Faders. I think in my side deck I'd probably put a third Battle Fader, just for more stalling power. You also got, also when there's a Trap Stun or something out, you can always chain after it, because when you play Yu-Gi-Oh, the chain goes backwards. So if you play, let's say you play Legacy of the Yada card here, and then they play Trap Stun, you can actually chain like a Jar of Greed or Reckless Greed or Wabaku or something like that to basically avoid that Trap Stun for that turn, because like I said, the chain links go link backwards. Now Wiretap, I mean this is a good card to put in your deck. The only reason I do not like this card is mainly because it actually shuffles a card back in their deck, which sucks for them sometimes, but, this card would probably be for your Trap Stuns or some pesky other trap cards that will stop my trap cards. And then, also, Trap Stun here, this card, it's a good card to side if they have a heavy trap zone and whatever. They got maybe not Royal Decree, but maybe they have Wiretaps or something like that in their deck. Trap Stun is a good one to use because you know what, you can actually afford to lose one turn. Excuse me. After Trap Stun is activated, and again, the link goes backwards. So basically, you can play Trap Stun, and then you can go ahead and go into a Yada, whatever that says, or you can go into a Jar of Greed, and then you can go into Reckless Greed, and then those cards will not get negated from Trap Stun. It's just, the way the chain link goes, which is cool. A lot of mistakes I make in other duels is I keep forgetting about the chain links in this game, how it goes reverse, but that's how it is. There's other cards, I'm sure there are other cards out there that are the best to side with this, but mainly, this deck is a very, very consistent deck. It takes an average about 10 to 12 turns to actually, get this, win the game. But you have so much stall time. I mean, you got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, You have more than that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You have 11. You have 11 turns to basically stall, and that's all you need for this deck, which makes it awesome. And other things about this deck is this deck really fools the opponent, because this deck thrives on you having less life points than they do. So if you get your life points down to 4,000, like, yeah, I got this game. You'll see a game tomorrow, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna beat this noob, whatever. And then all of a sudden you bring out like Hope for Escape. Man, you're gonna win the game. This is like your main engine, but we'll talk about this stuff in the deck profile. But you did get a brief view of the Exodia deck. But that is basically part of it. I was gonna actually make a discussion on why it wouldn't. I don't really think the game would be affected if they made the Exodia pieces to unlimited. To tell you the truth, you're gonna put 15 Exodia pieces in your deck. It's just gonna make it less consistent, and people will not do that. But but it also opens doors to powerful Exodia cards that thrive on the Exodia pieces being in the graveyard. And there's a lot of cards in the game that you can recycle these cards back into your deck and whatnot. But I really think if these cards really came to unlimited, I don't think it would affect the game too much. I'm not saying it's ever going to happen, but I don't think it would affect anything. But that's just a side note. But I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you tomorrow for another awesome discussion.